What's up, world, and welcome to this Take One Daily. I am your host, or I'm your guy. I ain't really a host, but I am August C. Jones. And yeah, so let's talk about this whole Kang situation. So I know it came out like maybe a week or two ago or whatever, and I'm just now getting to it, but it's like I wanted to give my thoughts on it because I've literally talked about it with friends, family, and so it's kind of a tricky situation. So it had came out, of course a lot of you know that they're more than likely trying to move away from the whole Kang aspect just because of what's going on with Jonathan Majors being a part of it, but also it being like to where people aren't real receptive of Kang so far in the MCU. And so it's kind of like, okay, what do we do? Let's get away from this. Let's do something else. Switch courses, switch gears, change courses and everything else. And let's start to bring in Dr. Doom. And so it's like, I'm completely against that. And here's why. This is why. And I'm gonna pull the race card. I'm not saying that Disney and Marvel is racist, but I'm gonna pull it a little bit later. Why I'm against that is that at this point, yes, it has been very disappointing when you're looking at the whole landscape and the whole scope of 4 and 5 and the phases. And it's like, it's certain projects that are good, it's certain projects that are bad, and it's certain projects that are mid. But overall, the consensus, even with myself, has been kind of disappointing, you know. And I feel like I've liked a lot more projects than other people have liked them. But I can honestly agree that it has gone down in property, or it has gone down in like value, quality. And it's like it's more to do with what they're doing as a company. Now, we all kind of know, if y'all don't know, there was a deadline to put a certain amount of like projects or whatever when Disney Plus first started. That's why we were so inundated with so many projects, from shows to movies and everything else, to where it was more quantity over quality. And so now they're starting to scale it back, and that had more to do with Bob Chapek. Now that Bob Iger is back, he has basically just like, yo, we need to slow down this train before it goes completely off track, which is the smartest move. And like my whole thing, which I don't even know if I've said it in the video before, but my whole thing is that and I'm going to talk about Kang, is that they should have done more with the multiverse, because I don't feel like this is the multiverse saga. It's some multiverse stuff that's happening up in here, but it's not really the overall thing. Like when you're looking at the Infinity saga, it's like that's the one thing that comes to mind. They set up other things, but it's essentially, we're looking for Thanos. We're looking forward to seeing the Infinity Stones and what's going to happen with them. With this one, the multiverse thing is kind of like an afterthought. Like, you're setting up big things, and you're not really focusing on trying to solidify and build up the character of Kang. You're so focused with doing all these other different projects that you're not focusing on the main villain. The thing with Thanos was that he wasn't really utilized until Infinity War, but before then, there was a mystique. There was like, okay, I want to see Thanos or whatever. And like now, it's like we see Kang, we see different versions of Kang, but the really kind of like kick-ass, badass version of Kang that we got in Quantumania wasn't really a kick-ass, badass Kang variant. Like, if you get bested by ants, I don't care how many they are, how big they are, if you get bested by them, and then on top of that get beat by Ant-Man, it's like you're not really setting a good, I guess you could say, expectation for your main villain. So it's not really have to do with the actor, and more has to do with your storytelling. What are you doing with this character? I feel, and I might end up making like a review on Quantumania, because I haven't did a review on that movie and talking about what I would have changed and everything else. So I might end up putting that in that video. But it's like, I feel like he should have been more dominant. You know, he probably should have been in more post-credit scenes in other movies, maybe in Universe of Madness or Multiverse of Madness. He should have been more present, more dominant. It should have been something to where us as an audience want to see more of him. And so now we're just looking at it as like, yeah, y'all need to fix this ship. If y'all gonna keep Jonathan Majors, if y'all gonna keep going on with him and keep him on as Kang, y'all need to do something with your storytelling and your handling of Kang. It has nothing to do with Jonathan Majors. He is killing it the best way that he can in that role, but it's all up to the writers and the producers, everybody that's crafting this path of Kang. That's what it boils down to. Another thing is that I feel like you don't have to throw away the character just because the actor is in a certain type of position. And and this is where the race car gonna come in. Maybe I'm completely off, jumping the gun, but I'm not calling them racist at all by me saying this. But I just hate the fact that they did that with Chadwick Boseman. You got all these other guys playing Spider-Man in different incarnations. You have all these other people, you got different actors coming in to play Superman. And I know it's different continuities, I know. But when you look at the Christopher Reeve's Superman as well as the Brandon Routh Superman, they both are the same Superman. They're both for the same continuity. And I get why, you know, that's whatever, but you had another person come in and play the role of Superman. And the same thing with the original Batman film, the 89 Batman film. It's like you had Michael Keaton play Batman in the first two movies, then you had Val Kilmer come in and play on the third one, then you had George Clooney play on the fourth one, and all of those movies are in this, they're the same Batman, they're the same Bruce Wayne. It's the same story, the same continuity, no matter if it sticks to it, you know, like good, but it's still the same continuity. But you had other actors come in. If another actor, if they wanted to go another route, or an actor didn't want to come back, all they did was replace them. And so that's what I'm saying. They just simply need to replace Jonathan Majors as Kang. They just need to put another actor in that role. Keep going with Kang, but just do the character better. That's all that it needs. You don't need anything else but just to do the character better. If you feel like Jonathan Majors, this whole court thing ain't gonna disappear anytime soon, and y'all need to move forward because his like trial dates and all his schedule with that is conflicting with the schedule with y'all trying to get these movies out, especially after what happened with the whole strike. I mean, the movie industry is kind of like it's like they're getting like hit from left and right. First it was COVID, now it was the like writers and actors strike. So it's like it's certain things that's slowing stuff down, but it's more affecting the MCU because all their movies are connected. So certain movies have to come out at a certain time before this one, this and that. So if you push back this movie, it's gonna push back that movie, which is gonna put back that movie, and it's gonna keep going. It's a domino effect. So I feel like the MCU and maybe the DC to an extent is kind of like the one that's like getting hurt more by it. And so I feel like instead of dumping the character of Kang, the whole thing, which they kind of set it up with Loki, where they could just abandon the whole thing and try something else. I feel like they need to essentially just recast, get an actor that will do as good a job as Jonathan Majors, or just a good enough job to, you know, sell this character like Jonathan Majors would, and just go from there. They don't need to like scrap the whole character unless you're planning on bringing him back at some later point. Then I could understand that. Then I'll be down with that. But if you're not gonna come back to this character and then try and redo it right or whatnot, just recast. That's all you need to do. That's what you should have did with Chadwick Boseman, and the numbers show with Wakanda Forever. And I'm not even about to get into that, but it's like literally that's all you need to do is just recast. And I'm not against them bringing Dr. Doom in, But I just feel like it needs to be a little bit more time. We're coming closer to the Kang dynasty, so to really scrap it and just rework it and everything else and rework your whole path, I feel like no, just keep going the road. Just keep going the route. Recast Dr. Doom. And like, I was watching the John Campion show the other day, and he said that like, you don't need to have like all these different, you know, to set this up and everything else. You don't have to have them set up in your major villain set up in like 4 or 5 different films before you I'm sorry, I just threw up a little bit in my mouth. I know TMI, but he was just saying that you don't need to have like 2, 3, 4 movies to set Dr. Doom up. You can just have him in one movie. And I feel like if he's going to be the main villain, and plus with the standards that they set up with the MCU with Thanos and stuff, he needs to be present. He needs to have some type of ominous presence, like Thanos had before his appearance. We need to see something. He doesn't need to be set up in 2 or 3 movies beforehand, but I would like to see him in at least one film before we get there. But if you're going to make him this big villain, he needs to have some type of big presence, and you can't do that really in one fucking movie. And he compared it to like Hans Gruber and like Die Hard and, you know, other like and Darth Vader and stuff. But it's just, I don't know, like, I guess it is how you do it, but I feel like he does need to be set up in other films in order for the non-comic book reading fans, the people that don't know who the fuck Dr. Doom is, for them to really set up who he is, what he's about, and like how powerful he is and what he's capable of. I feel like it needs to be a little bit more time. So it's just more of time, restructuring, and everything else. So I feel like they need to just keep going the path, recast if they need to, and then later on, after the multiverse saga, bring Dr. Doom in then. It's like you don't need to have to like change course. Like, keep the course and just recast and just fix whatever you need to fix, and just get your whole house in order. That's really what it boils down to. Just get your whole house in order, because we're hearing more behind the scenes kind of like turmoil than we've ever heard with Marvel. We only heard this type of stuff, especially with Blade. We've only heard this type of stuff with DC and what they were doing before, but now Marvel is like in that kind of like panic state. Like, what do we do? And it's just simply cool your jets, talk with your writers, talk with your directors, talk with your actors and all that stuff, talk with whoever you need to talk to, and just get like your priorities straight on what you need to do to fix it, and just do that. That's all it is. I make it sound as simple as that, but essentially it is that simple. Just keep the course and just, you'll be fine. Just fix everything up. You don't make shows that's unnecessary, like fucking Echo. Apparently they calling it the Spotlight. Apparently it's not consequential to anything that's really big happening in the MCU, but whatever, I might talk about that in another video. But essentially, just that's all that they need to do, and I hope that they do that. I hope that this whole thing with Jonathan Majors clears out, that he is if he is innocent, I'm rooting for him to be innocent. But if it shows that he is innocent, I do hope sincerely that everything gets worked out before they make a decision to, like, you know, get, you know, kind of like depart from him as an actor playing that role or whatnot. But if that's not the case, just recast. I feel like a lot of people would probably be like, they don't want him to be recast or whatever, but essentially I feel like that would probably be the best move. And if you're gonna bring in Dr. Doom, I don't know, I feel like just don't take away Kang, bring him in, kind of lightly have him here and there in these different movies, and then after the Kang dynasty, if that is the route that they're gonna go, like later on, like just getting, like Kang is gonna have his last showing in the MCU in Kang Dynasty, and then you want to have Secret Wars, I feel like you can set up both of them, leading both there. So I mean, those are just my thoughts. I hope you guys liked it, and if you did, go ahead, like this video, subscribe if you're not, hit that notification bell for more videos like this, and I will catch you guys on the next one. So peace out, stay safe, and yeah, don't get rid of Kang, just recast.